Read this next sentence and listen. Did a little voice in your head say it out loud? Some people never hear one. Right now, as you read these words, there's a very good chance you can hear them. A little narrator, somewhere behind your eyes, quietly saying each one. That same voice talks you through your day. It rehearses arguments in the shower. It reads your text back to you, and you have always quietly assumed that everybody has one. But a lot of people simply don't. Because your inner voice isn't a simple on or off. It's a whole spectrum. At one end, people whose heads are a non-stop running commentary, narrating everything. At the other end, people whose minds are almost completely silent. And crucially, neither one of those is the normal, correct setting. They are just different. In 2024, researchers finally gave the silent end a name, anendophasia, literally no inner speech. And when they started testing people who live without that voice, they found it genuinely changes how the mind does certain jobs. Here's a way to actually feel it for yourself. 2 written words, com and tom, do they rhyme? If you have an inner voice, you just heard them, sounded them out, and instantly knew, no, they don't. But people without that voice find this weirdly hard because they can't play the sound back in their head. In the studies, they were also worse at holding a string of words in memory, the trick you use to repeat a phone number until you can dial it. Now, this absolutely does not mean a silent mind is a lesser mind. People without an inner voice are every bit as sharp, as clever, and as capable as anyone else. They just get there by different means, thinking in pictures, in feelings, in fast wordless concepts that never need to be spelled out. Same destination, a completely different vehicle. So where does this voice even come from? The leading idea goes back to the psychologist Lev Vygotsky. Watch a small child playing alone, and they narrate out loud. No, the red block goes here. As they grow, that running commentary doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet and turns inward. Your inner voice on this view is the voice you used to use out loud, as a toddler simply moved inside. And here's a jolt for those of you certain your narrator never shuts up. When researchers give people a beeper that goes off at random moments and ask what was in their head at that exact instant, inner speech shows up only about a quarter of the time. Your voice only feels constant because it is always there the moment you go looking for it. Turn around fast enough, and the room is mostly quiet. I do have to be honest, because this is all very new. Not everyone is convinced. A recent counter-argument says the evidence really shows big differences in how much people use an inner voice, rather than proof that anyone has precisely zero. So the truly silent mind might be the far quiet end of the spectrum, rather than a hard separate category. The science is still being written. But sit with the strange part. Your whole life you've quietly assumed that the inside of everyone's head sounds like the inside of yours. The constant narrators can't imagine the silence. The silent minds can't imagine the chatter. 2 utterly different ways of being a person, sitting right next to each other on the bus, and neither one can see in. So the next time that voice in your head reads a sign out loud for absolutely no reason, spare a thought for the people reading in total silence, and for the people whose narrator just read this line, in my voice, hello. If your own mind quietly hiding things from you is the sort of thing that unsettles you nicely, wait until you meet your eyes. The next one is about the moments, several times a second, when you go completely blind and your brain smoothly covers it up. Same channel, same quietly narrating little man.